Hello, and welcome to the LLG vlog. You're with me, Dennis Hall, LLG Bulletin Editor, and as usual, Helen Bennett, LLG's Executive Director of Policy and Governance. Well, Helen, how are you?
I'm really well, thank you, Dan. I'm really just really excited about the energy that was at the LLG Governance Conference last
Yes,
Friday.
I saw that. It was a tremendous event. Everyone got something from it with the three-program format, which is very welcome, I think, to many
Yeah,
members. And the launch was a turning point event for monitoring officers and the development of ethical governance excellence in the future.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, on the back of that, I should mention that two of the key presentations at the governance conference last Friday focused on artificial intelligence, or as we've come to know it, AI, and the need for ethical governance, and in particular, the need to avoid the known risks associated with the reliance on AI in various public environments. I think the speakers were from Waitmans and Freeth's,
Yeah,
Helen, you'll
yes,
recall that.
very good speakers.
Excellent. And this week's vlog, therefore, is about a key aspect of the conduct of litigation involving the use of expert witness evidence in court. Now, the topic has been in the news for many months. These experts, too, often rely on AI to refine and develop their expert opinions.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, Amadit Gill from Trials and Hamlin spoke on AI.
Oh, sorry, he
He,
did. Yes, you're
yeah,
right.
he's
Yes,
always a
Towers as
great
well.
speaker. Yeah.
Yes, excellent.
Um, on a more broader front, there are yet wider concerns, I think, about experts in court. We've got the high-profile Lucy Letby criminal trial, which has seen expert witnesses at odds with one another as to the key
Mm.
findings in the case. And of course, the Post Office Horizon scandal has seen, I think, I think it's fair to say it's been commentated on the whole scale abuse of expert witness evidence, actually, at an extraordinary scale, leading to hundreds of miscarriages of justice, Dennis.
Yes, and family and child practitioners, including in our own sector, have already called for
Mm.
changes to the civil procedure rules that govern their cases. And then there's the use of AI in the compilation of research by expert witnesses. So, the central questions we will look at are whether expert witnesses should be formally regulated and
Mm.
should their use of AI be regulated too. So we'll look at this issue. What are people saying about it? And what about AI and expert witness research? What are the issues precisely with AI use in the justice and court system? And
Mm.
finally, what can we expect as the outcome from all of this?
Yeah, Dennis, when I was listening at conference as well, and this is obviously before the days of
Mm,
AI, but going back 20 years, say, in practice, now, if you had say, expert evidence in housing disrepair, you knew your expert was going to say one thing, the other person's expert was
yeah,
going to say something else. And there was never, it's astounding to me, really, that that the formal regulations never occurred before, to be honest.
yes, yes. And it's only as a result of these big profile cases that people are now asking questions. Because bear in mind,
Mm.
anyone can describe themselves as an expert. There is no if you
I
like,
know, Dennis.
professional body. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are professional bodies to which experts may be a
Yes,
member, which will have their own ethical
yes.
code. But that doesn't mean to say they are the appropriate people to give evidence, expert evidence, in a particular court environment.
No, but we should make the point that there are some brilliant expert
Oh, of
evidence
course, yes.
out there, expert witnesses, sorry, giving evidence. So, but why are they in the news? Well, I think I mean, it's the Lucy Letby case and the Post Office scandal, as I've already mentioned, they both cast doubt, I think it's fair to say, on the current use and potential abuse of expert witness.
Yeah,
And then you've got AI in the mix, which is raising all
yes,
sorts of issues. And I think there's been a number of children cases as well that have caused concern. Um, there has been, as I understand it, a major survey undertaken recently by the
yeah,
Law Society
yeah,
Gazette um, and a research organization called Bond Salon, I think is
yeah,
how you pronounce it. And that's
yes,
involved yeah, sorry, I was just going to say that's involved
um,
a detailed survey of all
yes.
expert witnesses, hasn't it?
Yes, and it's been in the Law Society Gazette. There've been a number of articles and
Yeah.
feedback and commentary. It's raised a lot of concern, and the results of the of the survey that you mentioned have been in the news. So, what is the big issue arising from this? Well, quite simply, it's this: there is a lack of, and it's recognised, there is a lack of oversight and transparency in relation to the use of expert witnesses at court. Some are self-appointed experts, and as you
Mm.
say, many are very good experts, but it's those who don't have the necessary knowledge or impartiality and unable to demonstrate this. And indeed, their evidence can be critical to the outcome of legal cases. And
Yes.
second, experts who use AI for research in support of their expert opinion do so without any guidance on this whatsoever. Now, you remember, Helen, in previous vlogs and items that we've done, those court cases earlier
Yeah.
this year when fake legal authorities were used by solicitors and barristers
Yeah.
accidentally or perhaps carelessly using these platforms.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And earlier this year, the Attorney General, who's Dominic Grieve, and the former Justice
Mm,
Secretary, Jack Straw, called for a system of regulation. They warned that criminal and civil trials sometimes hang, as we've said, on the evidence by self-appointed experts who may in fact lack the necessary knowledge and impartiality to
mm,
act properly in court proceedings. And I think that's got to be right.
yeah,
Um, Certainly in light as well of the Mazur case in terms of
as
the
well.
conduct of litigation. And they've been pleased from the SRA, as I understand it, to introduce specific regulations to improve the professional relationship between experts and solicitors. And I think that would be very welcome from solicitors, but these have gone unheeded
Yes,
so
indeed.
far.
Yeah. Speaking at last year's Expert Witness Conference, Chief Executive of the SRA, Paul Phillip, urged experts to call out unethical conduct, but fell short himself of committing to a new process for experts to report solicitors to the regulator.
Mm. And in March this year, the Family Procedure Rules Committee consulted on plans to require any expert instructed in family law children proceedings to be regulated. And you would think that would be an area where they
Yes,
absolutely should be.
definitely.
And the committee said that this is relatively straightforward
Mm,
in professions such as medicine or psychology, where some categories of psychologists are already regulated, but
mm.
they said more practical, I'm sorry, more impractical in professions that don't have a regulatory body. And you can see why.
Yes, indeed. So back to this survey, what did it reveal? Well, the latest survey, this Bond Soul on Witness expert survey, revealed that more than 59% of the experts surveyed believe themselves that formal regulation of all experts would improve standards.
Mm. Well, actually, I've just diverted my train of thought there because I was thinking about the duty of candor that's going to hit
Mm,
public officials, and really that kind of duty of candor needs to be embedded um, uh, throughout anyone involved in these types of systems. And I would submit that that ought to include expert witnesses,
yes, and
frankly.
it's got to be a guiding light for experts too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So as the report notes, this was brought into sharp focus with the views expressed earlier by the Family Procedure Rule Committee, and two-thirds of the experts who were canvassed this year were working in the medical healthcare sector. And of course, there's lots of unregulated practices in the
Mm,
quasi-medical, especially the
indeed.
beauty industry. But the rest range across disciplines as diverse as things like centribunals, creative art therapies, terrorism and extremism, and even sports, Dennis. And many
Yes.
experts in the survey felt that a regulatory or training body for experts, and it would be interesting to see how that would be built because of the broad range, but nevertheless, that would be helpful. Or indeed, they suggested a government register of accredited experts.
Yes, and some of them, several favoured a mandatory examination of Civil Procedure Rule
Okay.
35. This is the relevant rule in the CPR rules, which governs the use of evidence from experts and
Yeah.
assessors in civil proceedings. Others, indeed, recommended a minimum level of
Mm,
continuing professional development be undertaken each year. If formal regulation will be introduced, 71% of respondents backed mandatory training and assessment as part of the oversight process. So clearly, we're they're knocking on an open door here as far as most experts in court are
mm,
concerned.
mm. I was just reminding myself in advocacy, in cross-examination, asking the question, how many times have you, how many reports have you submitted? And of that time, how many found the opposite view to the one you're espousing now? Never. Um, but that's not always the case. I've got to be
No.
fair here. That's not always the case, of course. Um, let's take a step back and look again at AI and expert witness
Mm.
research, because this is really the evolving
Yeah, it's a
area.
big
And the
issue.
principal focus of the survey concerns the use of AI by expert witnesses. And there appears to be, I would say, a reticence among expert witnesses to use AI. And that's what the Bond Solon's report says. 1 in 5 experts who had deployed AI had genuinely done so just to assist with research. Again, bit dicey unless you double check that. Others said they used it to just simply rephrase their writing, check grammar and spelling, or to calculate results from data.
Well, listen to yes. Well, listen to this. One respondent even is reported as saying that they use ChatGPT to challenge their own professional judgment.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, but on the other hand, a large majority of respondents, 89%, pointed to the need, once again, for specific guidance on the use of AI by experts. Bond Solon founder Mark Solon said there are several areas where experts may be at risk if they use AI, including the accuracy of data and data privacy.
Yeah.
Experts must ensure that they use reputable platforms and are aware of the security risks. Well, we've seen that with the cases we looked at earlier this year. Now, everything received from AI must be checked, he said, and the final report must be in their own words. And it's crucial that the courts provide further guidance on the use of AI and the risks involved in misuse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just thinking about ChatGPT, but it's
Yeah.
other platforms as well. So apart from the data risk in terms of sensitive information being disclosed through those, because it can turn up elsewhere once it's in the database, all these AI platforms, and they're essentially language tools at the moment, aren't they? And I
Yes.
know that
Yes.
will change, but they are designed to support your proposition. So I don't know if you've noticed, Dennis, but they kind of they flatter you and they look for a way to tell you you're right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And we've actually seen that in some really disturbing cases with young people involving suicide as well, where
Mm.
there's been an encouragement, not an alarm system going off in relation to it. So
Yeah.
um, I think there are some real concerns here. But what can we expect from all of this? Well, I think two
Yes.
things will emerge. The first is we'll probably see some form of accreditation scheme for expert witnesses. And I have to say, I agree with that, especially
Yes.
covering those that are not regulated by their own professional bodies, because
Yes.
they're out on a limb then, aren't they?
Yes. That's the main gap area, isn't it? The
Yes.
ones that are not currently uh, members of a professional or other kind of
Yeah.
association where they have their own ethical code. It's the
Yes.
ethical deficit that's the real issue.
Yeah. And there's a lack of accountability there. And yes,
Mm.
they've got a duty to the court, but um, the professional body at least puts in a proper governance arrangement, like you said, in respect of ethics and conduct. And also there's somewhere to complain to as well, right?
Indeed, yes.
I think we are also going to see guidance on how professional experts use AI in the
Yeah.
preparation of their evidence to court. And actually, we're starting to get that in the legal system. We're certainly getting it in local authorities. And if people don't have adopted AI use policies, they ought to get them sooner rather than later. We have them at LLG.
Yeah.
Um, and I think for the legal profession, obviously, we're going to see regulation around AI and lawyers' submissions to court. I mean, it might actually make an appearance in the CPR at some point.
I would have thought so. I think it's reasonable to expect that that will be an outcome because there's no doubt AI is going to intervene, as it were, in all aspects
Yeah,
of public life. We have to ensure, though, that the proper governance arrangements can be engaged where there are serious decision-making processes involved, like in the system of justice
absolutely.
that we practice in. And as a final note, back to those cases early this year where lawyers used AI inadvertently to present fake authorities to court. Perhaps the last word should be left to Dame Victoria Sharp, President of the King's Bench Division of the High Court, where she said, there are serious implications for the administration of justice and public confidence in the justice system if artificial intelligence is misused.
Absolutely.
And on that note, Helen, that's all for this episode. I think that's a wrap, do you think?
I think so too.
Yep. So we'll see you next time for more legal insights and updates.